All right, we are straight. All right.
We live.
Yeah. Good. Mic is on. Camera's on. Lights on. All right. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Convos with Bishop. I am Marvel Bishop, as you already know. Thank you so much for the YouTube viewership, for the listener viewership when it comes to all the DSPs. As I always say, today is a good day to have a great day. Man, I'm always excited to always interview people. I am. But this is a person that I actually have high regard for. Number one, dude, my nigga, if you gonna dress like that, dog, you need to warn a person.
Hey, man, I ain't want to take no chances, dog.
No, this dude over here looking real fly. I'm over here with the...
Come on, man. Hey,
Jordan.
I just do a little something, dog. Don't do that. You got
a little something or a lot of everything.
You got your good shirt on, man.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
I guess,
Don't
man. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been out all damn day shooting and content creating and all that stuff. But nah, man, you look good. You look good. So I've known this person for relatively... When was the first time we met?
Man, I can't even tell you.
I can't even tell you either, right?
It's been several years.
Yeah, it's been about close to 7.
Yeah, at least 7.
Yeah, right?
At least 2012.
Definitely, yeah. 20, yeah, exactly. Yeah. When I used to work at Story.
Yep.
And then after that, I transitioned out of it, and then we used to pretty much see each other, you know what I'm saying?
I was in these streets.
Yeah, man. You was doing your thing, man. And the one thing I actually really like about you is that you a lone wolf, man.
Yeah.
You a lone wolf, bro. Like you a drummer to your own beat.
Hey, man, you know.
Where's that come from?
I go where the spirit says go, man. You know, I've been in, it actually comes from being in certain predicaments where I didn't have anybody but myself and my faith in the Most High. And, you know, being in those situations where no one to lean on, man, you really find yourself, right? You really get a sense of introspection. And I got that at a really young age, man. And of course, seeing my father and my mother being who they are, they've never really cared about anyone's opinions. So, you know, it's kind of runs in the bloodline.
Mr. Wesley Saunders. How you doing, man?
Hey, man.
How you feeling? How's your mental health?
You know what? I appreciate you asking me that, brother.
Of course, man. We always got to ask
thank you for having me here, man. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you, dog. It's really just good to see somebody, you know?
Yeah.
You know, quarantine makes it...
During pandemic.
You take certain things for granted, like people. So it's good to be here, man, but I'm feeling great, man. My mental health is wonderful, actually. I'm glad you asked because I do mental health and wellness coaching and emotional intelligence coaching and consultations with people. Being that I feel like I have an expertise in that field. So, you know, man, you know, that's something I'm very excited about because now it seems like a lot of people are talking about it. So let me ask you, how's your mental health?
Man, you know what? This is actually the first time somebody asked me how the fuck I'm doing on my own podcast. So that's very refreshing. I definitely appreciate you. I'm good, man. I'm definitely a lot better. Okay. I'm definitely a lot better. You know, this pandemic has been absolutely trying, to say the least. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not only just being a human being, but also being a black man as well, too. You already know what time it is when it comes to that.
A little extra spice on it.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? A little bit too much friggin' Tabasco on the damn steak, man. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, it's just as everything else, too, but specifically mental health, which we'll get into a little later. It's a journey. It's a process.
Yes.
And that's the one thing you have to pretty much put in your damn brain. Yep. That it's not a 1 + 1 = 2. Nope. It's not a point A to point B. It's everlasting.
And most people's analytical mind won't take them past that. They want to see the results.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely, man. So before we get into that, actually, I wanted to really, because we've had plenty of, I guess, like, you know, hit and run conversations before, you know what I'm saying? But we never really had to sit down like this.
In depth.
Yeah, man, in depth. So
get to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, man. Like, I do know who you are, but at the same time, I don't. Yeah. So who is Wes? And after when you say that, I really want to get into how did you become Wes? I really want to know, like, the background of, and I'm going past, you know, which you can tell me too, you know, I'm going past the, you know, the Gamecock days and the, you know, the Steeler days and the Colt days, you know what I'm saying? But, like, you know, tell me.
How did I become Wes? Well, young kid from Gary, Indiana, who grew up in Durham, North Carolina, man. I'm sure you, like myself, can relate. I was always bigger than everybody else from a very young age, and that alone put a little added pressure on me because, you looked at as a leader early on, even though you're a lot younger than everybody else, man. So, and I was put in situations where I had to act older than my age. So, early on, you start to get a sense of who you are, judging other people, what you do and what you don't want to do, right? So then, of course, like you say, the Gamecock days where, you get in college and you get a little more notoriety, as you say, and being a black man in America, the microscope is on you a little bit more.
Of course.
So that is one of the trying things that really helped me become who I am. I always had a faith in God. I always had a faith in myself, a respect for others. But once I started to understand the dynamics of the political system, the socioeconomic system in the country, how I was used as a pawn as an athlete, right, and how I was incorrectly using my abilities and my stance on the culture, for the culture, So I was, I got suspended, things that didn't go my way. No one's fault but my own. But that took, like I said,
suspended on the collegiate level, or
I got suspended in college. I got suspended for accepting benefits from boosters and agents. I was a really good player.
Everybody does that.
Everybody does it. Yeah, exactly. They were on hey man, I don't cry over spilled milk, but they were on a witch hunt that year, and they were kind of mad at. I think they were mad at Reggie Bush or something, man.
What year was that?
This was 2010. Yeah,
okay.
2010.
Okay. So you were a little bit after Reggie Bush, right?
Right. So this is when they people were enraged that Reggie had won the Heisman, and they found out he had done
deservedly so.
Yeah, exactly. Deservedly so.
Yeah.
Right. And they were people came down hard on the NCAA, saying they weren't cracking down on players that were accepting these kind of benefits and stuff like that. So I just happened to be the number one tight end in the country in 2010, and somebody came at me and said, "Hey man, you want to come to Miami to a couple parties? You want to go hang out?" And I was down, and the rest is history. They found out, man, and that was the end of college football for me. So, within a span of 3 years, I also got suspended in the NFL for performance-enhancing drugs, Adderall, right? So Adderall, I didn't have a prescription for Adderall. Didn't understand that I needed a therapeutic usage exemption from the NFL in order to use this Adderall. So I needed a second prescription. So moral of the story is the mindfulness part of things, I wasn't really connecting the dots. I thought I knew better than people, and I thought, I wasn't really taking guidance and direction until I was, facing public scrutiny, embarrassment. So that's...
Where did that, I would say respectfully, like that arrogance, where did that come from? Like, how did that come about? You like with everything you're pretty much going with. 'Cause I know, like for me, when I was growing up, when I played, I didn't play at the high level that you did, but I did play college basketball. But at my age, I definitely felt like you couldn't fucking tell me anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't really grow up in a not necessarily like a bad neighborhood, but I definitely had like a good childhood. But like I was definitely raised appropriately.
Right.
But I'm asking you, do you feel like a lot of collegiate athletes, especially when they're like one of the top people in the country, they do take it for granted at times? And did you take it for granted?
I would say yes. I definitely took it for granted. Simply because we live in an environment that enables athletes. I learned at an early age, if I played really well at sports, people were going to treat me differently, right? And I could I could be a knucklehead and get away with things simply based on my athletic ability. Now that is something very powerful and dangerous to expose to a young person who's not sure what to do with that kind of power. And it's dangerous to give to older people who don't know what to do with that power, right? So the arrogance comes from the society, and I kind of fed into it, and that I learned the hard lesson that they'll only love you up until a certain point, and then they can get rid of you just as quickly, and it'll be a swift ending that you don't see coming. So that's very humbling. I had situations happen around me that made me really, I had a teammate who committed suicide around this time.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and he, Kenny McKinley, rest in peace, man. But
Kenny, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so he had left and was in the NFL at the time. So I'm going through this stuff with the NCAA. He's in the NFL and decides to do this. So I'm like, man, there's no way I can feel sorry for myself. You don't know what someone else is going through mentally. So really, I just had to suck it up. And that was the most trying time in my life, man.
Now I would say that the NFL and maybe like the professional sports in the world are definitely taking, I guess, a little bit more of a step when it comes to mental health and when it comes to actually treating your players better. Not as well as they should, but compared to pretty much back then, where I felt like they could have just honestly got away with anything. Yeah. And they kind of still can get away with anything now, but the microscope is still a little bit more on them now because the whole Black Lives Matter movement, the whole police brutality and all that stuff.
Everybody's treading lightly now.
Yeah, like how was that back? Like how was like playing in like such like a D1 college level and then transitioning into the NFL for you?
It was intense, but at the same time, it was I was thankful for everything because, like I said, I was going through a situation that most people hadn't gone through. I'm transitioning to the NFL from college, having not played a whole year. I didn't have any film, so I entered the league, and I ended up breaking my foot. So before the draft, so I was dealing with things. So that took away from the excitement. I was so focused on just getting there.
Getting there. So, okay, so when you got into the league, you were already hurt.
Yeah. Okay. I was recovering from a broken foot, and we had the NFL lockout for 3 months, which saved my life. That lockout for 90 days allowed for my wound
for your body to heal, right?
Yeah,
and everything does happen for a reason.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So do you feel like you having that injury, right, and then after those 3 months, and then you transitioning into the league and not necessarily played as much as like maybe let's just say the other players, did it feel like you had like a lot more of a spotlight on you, or people didn't really, or maybe people did not really respect Wesley Saunders as much as they should, because they felt like you just got into the league and then that was it? Like, talk to me about that.
Oh, it was definitely a sense of, me personally, I was very grateful to have made it, and everybody was excited for me because they knew exactly the circumstances I was under, having not been drafted and having broken my foot. So I was the only undrafted player to make it to the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2011. Shout out to Coach Tomlin, undefeated Steelers. Wouldn't mind being back up there, but my point being,
we're going to get to that.
We're going to get back up there.
We're going to Wes, don't joke too fast.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, y'all.
Because I have a bone to pick with the NFL vicariously through you. So we'll get to that. Go ahead.
All right, but yeah, so it was humbling being behind Heath Miller and learning from those guys because it was a whole change of pace. But Bruce Arians threw me in the fire, so I started playing more. I was starting games. I was a contributor on the team, so it made me feel like, okay, this is just it's a kid's game at the end of the day. So
exactly. being around
X's
and O's at the end of the day.
X's and O's and Jimmy's and Joe's, and being around players like Ryan Clark and Troy Polamalu and guys who just gave me the confidence to just be myself, man. So hey, it's all right.
So it definitely made you, it was a lot of you having that, how should I say, that support.
Oh, yeah.
That definitely helps you a lot.
Oh yeah. I was so fortunate to go to the Steelers that year. They had the older veteran players who kind of took me under their wing. Heath Miller, Casey Hampton. These are the guys who won the Super Bowl a few years prior. James Ferrier. So these are Hall of Famers, and I was able to be.
Oh man, you weren't there when they won?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh man, I thought you were there when you won. Okay.
Yeah,
What years was that? What year was that? Your years.
My years 2011, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, they had gone to the Super Bowl the year prior, me coming out of the draft.
They beat the Seahawks, right?
They lost to the Packers.
In
Texas when I was training there. Yeah, so I was, but it was cool, man. It was definitely a learning experience, and it was something I was able to excel my game quickly under the tutelage of these older players, and it was something that I was able to benefit from.
So what happened to you after that? After 2012, so you only played them with like a year, right?
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years.
Okay.
And that second year, I was facing a suspension for the Adderall, 4 games. Once I came back from the 4-game suspension, the Steelers ultimately released me in October, and immediately the coach who had brought me there the previous year, Bruce Arians, he brought me with him to Indianapolis.
Okay.
That's,
with Peyton Manning and
Peyton had just left. It was Andrew Luck's first year.
Man, you getting there when Peyton left? That would have been beautiful.
But it would have been beautiful because definitely he's made some guys a lot of
definitely
money.
excel. You know what I'm saying?
But I had a great time playing with Andrew Luck, man. Seeing a guy like that going from Roethlisberger to Andrew Luck, I was able to see that he had some real talent. This is real. He wasn't a slouch.
On the topic of Andrew Luck real quick, because I actually just thought of something. Don't you feel like Andrew Luck is very misunderstood?
Very much so. I knew that from the moment I met him.
Like if you can indulge in that real fast.
Yeah, and he's just one of those guys, man. He just happens to be awesome at football. Does that make sense? Like
I got you.
You know, he really doesn't care for the spotlight like that. He's a natural born leader in his own way, right? He's not the guy that everybody wants him to be, but he's definitely significant and knows what he's capable of. So, you know, I do believe that people misunderstanding him has something to do with him walking away. And
I feel like he walked too soon, though, man.
Well, you know, injuries.
Or maybe his body. Like, how many injuries he had? He had a whole damn bunch.
It's not even the amount; it's the significance of it, right? Because even mentally, you know, people don't talk about this. You know, for a football player to go through these injuries, that's trauma. You know, you are traumatized now, so you are trying to heal physically and mentally and spiritually. And if you don't have the correct support system around you, then it's, you know. Or if you do have the correct support system around you, it's going to make you understand, you know, life a little bit more, your purpose, and you're going to maybe move in a different direction.
I feel like a lot of people really just focus on injuries as it just being physical.
Yes.
But I think it's a lot mental more than anything.
Yes.
I mean, let me see if I can try to go through the injuries I had. I had patella tendonitis. I rotated my damn finger here. Pretty much was like just literally pretty much almost broke off. Broke my big toe. That's the worst.
That toe, man.
The toe injuries?
Anything on the foot is terrible, man. I got a 5-inch screw in my foot right now.
Oh, really?
Man. Yeah. So it's,
you know, and I feel like a lot of people don't really even respect athletes when it comes to them getting injured. You know, they're just too worried about. Oh man, I want to root for Wesley Saunders. I want him to be there.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck about if he's injured, if he's not. You know what I'm saying? Like all they care about is the result.
We're not really real. You know, in that realm of how you look at it. This is the modern day. You know, the gladiators.
Yeah.
This is exactly. We're at the Coliseum, and they are cheering on because they have to go back to whatever life they have after that, right? So like, I love the fans. The fans are near and dear, but some of the nastiest comments I've received have been from fans, right? You are a supporter of me and you speak to me in that way, right? But that makes you understand the divorce rate being what it is.
Talk to me about real quick. You brought something up. Talk to me about the love-hate relationship with fans.
Yeah.
Like, is there a love-hate relationship?
I would not say hate, not at
not
this
hate,
point.
I'm sorry,
at this point because, you know,
a disdain or like a
the mindful
dislike?
mind can hate no one. So, but as far as an understanding of them, I understand their viewpoint a lot more, having been on the outside looking in and having, like, you know, my senior year of college, not playing, but I was still at school and I was having to attend these games and sit on the sideline. And fans were, you know, the fans of the University of South Carolina, man, they love.
They're ruthless?
No, they weren't they were ruthless, you know, in the realm of football. But once, obviously, I was not on the team, and you know, I was almost an outcast because the NCAA didn't allow me on the sidelines. I was no longer part of the team, so I'm watching the game from the student section.
Really?
As South Carolina's having their best season ever. So, you know, it's me being like, man, I could be out there. I should be out there.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, I was depressed. I was in a state of depression, right? So I had to seek help. I had to reach out to people. And this is around the same time that incident with Kenny McKinley happened. And I don't know if my life would be going in the direction it would be had it not been for the abrupt passing of Kenny and me kind of not feeling sorry for myself anymore. Got you. Moving forward, even trying to petition my own, you know, I actually tried to petition and get back on the field throughout the season, but, you know, it didn't work. So the instances and the situations you've had, right? Yeah.
When it came to the collegiate level, when it came to the professional level, you're really big on mental health, right? Would you say that the things that you have experienced actually propelled you into the entity that you are right now when it's a proponent and a person who's I don't want to call you a counselor. What should I call you when it comes to mental health?
I would say mental health curator.
Okay. So did that give you the inspiration to really go full force?
Oh yeah.
In mental health?
Yes.
Okay. So talk to me about that.
My tattoo on my chest, without pain, there's no life. You know, that's an old saying. And I started to understand that the lessons I was learning in life, you're going to keep learning the same lessons unless you teach yourself how to overcome those lessons, right? So I was shooting myself in the foot and not doing myself any favors. And I realized there was a whole world out there that didn't want me to fail, so why would I be making it harder on myself, right? So there came a time where, public ridicule does a lot to a person when you're on the internet. And, a lot of people never have to face 1,000 people on the internet with your name saying how stupid you are, how much of an idiot you are, you're never going to play again. They're talking about your family, and you want to get on there and respond to all of them. You don't know me. You get emotional, right?
Yeah.
And then you get exhausted in that sense. You get frustrated. You dig yourself into a bigger hole. So I did all of these things, right? And I'm facing public scrutiny, and I'm embarrassed. My family's embarrassed, and I come from a good home, right? My dad, he's a very well-educated black man. He is super embarrassed, right? Because he didn't raise no fool. So,
Daddy ain't raised no fool.
Daddy ain't raised, and shout out to my mama too, but Dad is that, you got a strong black father.
Yeah, man. Black father's everything.
And he definitely took his time raising me and teaching me how to not be the guy who was in the news for something not good. And he teaching me how to speak and not stutter over my words and be well-spoken and present myself in a high regard. And so for me to be dealing with that was humbling, because, you have to deal with the perception that people have of you. So what do you become when everyone already thinks that you're not shit? When you're not worth anything, what do you become? So I had to become more of myself. And it felt really good, even though it was terrible at the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you're definitely blessed too, because not a lot of black men actually have the privilege to actually have a mother and a father.
Right.
My father's still around, but I didn't meet him until I was like 5 years ago. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Grew up with my aunt, she raised me, my grandparents too, but it's just something about when you are pretty much raised by your parents,
yes.
And that's really something that we really just, people who definitely do have that, they need to really use those lessons and that experiences to be able to really, really kind of bestow upon the lessons onto other people.
Definitely, man. It's very important to have both parents at the helm, and that's something that's plagued the black community for quite some time, ever late '60s, early '70s, and that I won't say that it's not systematic, but we will say that it's affecting us at a rate where these young black boys especially need some guidance, and you can see that in these days. We're just talking about King Von, man. We need
rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. We need some guys to say this is not the way, right? We are way better than this, and this is our time to shine. Right?
Yeah, and you being an athlete, I definitely consider you more than an athlete. You know what I'm saying? And maybe with your mental health journey to try to pretty much bring awareness, is not only bringing awareness and helping people when it comes to the younger people, but also your colleagues as well too.
Yes,
I would say, right? Because I think one of the biggest things, especially when it comes to football, hear me out. There's a lot of football players that do become retired that have identity crises.
Yes.
Did you experience that or no?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, my identity was never tied into football. As
after
much as
football,
some guys,
what am I? You know what I'm saying?
My dad always told me that football is what I do. It's not who I am. So it was very clear. He's pulled me out of a class for he pulled me out of games for my grades being below par. D's and C's wasn't cutting it in the household. So. That was clear early on, and that was a very powerful message, and I know a lot of people need that message.
Yeah. It's once you actually have a person, a staunch figure to pretty much make you realize that student athlete, you're a student first. Yep. Athlete comes second. Once we pretty much take out the pressure and the end-all be-all of athlete, and you actually focus on being student first, it pays dividends at the end, because then after you...
Man, it pays dividends. You get, honestly, I know some guys whose purpose wasn't necessarily in athletics, right? But they played because they were good at it. So now is the time to help people find their purpose, right? Find their identity.
So talk to me about that, because I feel like you are kind of really helping your colleagues and other people trying to find their way past football.
That's it, man. I want everyone to find their purpose, man. That's when things start to come together, especially when we talk about just in general Black America, not excluding anyone else. But that's an impoverished, over-imprisoned group that we're talking about, and we are at a disadvantage in so many different areas. But the first way that we can come together is collecting our minds, being strong in mind, strong in body, understanding the foods that we're putting in our bodies and everything like that. But I like you said, I do feel it's very important because the book I read by David Dieter, The Way of the Superior Man, talks about
fantastic book, by the way.
Fantastic book. You already know what
every
time it is.
man needs to read that book.
Every man should read that book. That should be a required reading for males because it teaches you to tap into your feminine side and not connotate that with being gay, right? So, there are everything in nature has a yin and a yang.
It's a balance, yin and yang at the end of the day. You
balance.
can't be too masculine. If you're too masculine, then you're toxic. If you're too feminine, you're too toxic. You need to find a balance. And I feel like that book really hones that. So go ahead.
Like you said, a lot of football players have tied themselves, or the athletes in general, into the bravado, machismo role, super masculine, right? Super alpha male, and they suppress so many of their other feelings. And once obviously, when you suppress that, it's going to come out in other ways. It's going to come out in anger. It's going to come out whatever, violence, whatever the case may be. And nobody needs that, right? Yeah. So the idea is to, hey, if you like painting, that's okay. If you like, I used to wear pink in school, man, back when pink was not cool for a boy to wear, man. And, the comments I would get really frustrated.
I mean, if you want to be really honest, like pink and purple is actually considered royalty.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hey, I like that. I didn't even know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Nope.
Yeah, man, you gotta look up your colors when it comes to the symbolism.
Okay.
Yeah, pink and purple, they're deemed as like symbolism as royalty. Oh. Especially pink.
Man, no wonder I liked it for so long. So
yeah, that's like Cameron. You know Cameron?
Oh yeah.
Killer Cam. That's honestly one of the reasons why he loved the color pink.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a powerful color, but but for some reason, the powers that be started making toys early on that were blue for boys, pink for girls. So if you're going to be guided in that sense, I'm just really about making people shake up their way of thinking. Everything they've ever learned, man, shake it up. Maybe say what if and start maybe carrying yourself in a different direction. That's a path to happiness and utopia.
Yeah, definitely. So we're talking about mental health, right?
Yes, sir.
I feel that you can't do one without the other when it comes to mental health and then physical health, right?
Yes.
Let's get into your journey with your transformation, physical wise, because you look fantastic.
Appreciate it, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Likewise, brother, likewise.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, man. It's a journey, man. Being 34, you know what I'm saying? Jordan, don't do that. Jordan, don't do that, Jordan. Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyways, this dude, I love him to death, man, but he has a slick mouth. Yeah, man. Talk to me about your journey when it pretty much came to your transformation, and how did that help you transform? How did that help you with your mental state too? Because I feel like health is wealth at the end of the day. You preach that all the time.
All the time.
Go ahead.
Hey, there it is. I like
Where's that from? Where's that from?
I like that. Come on, man, Mario.
All right, cool. No, I had to check. I had to check the temperature, bro. I had to check the temperature. All right, go ahead.
I used to get excited hearing that, boy, but all night on that thing. But yeah, man, about my journey, it was pretty simple for me. I ended up breaking my foot training down in Texas, and I was on the heavier side. I was about 285, 290. At one point, I'd reached the tip the scales at 303 pounds.
Wow.
So,
okay.
And I could always move. I could do things. So, for eating, I'm from North Carolina, man. I eat. I do my thing. So, I was always a heavier kid, and I was taught to eat everything on my plate and finish all this. So, my concept of eating, just like most people, was emotional. I was emotional eating. It made me happy. When you were sad, you eat. When you celebrate, you eat. So everything I did revolved around food. And then once I actually first went on a diet, training for the combine, that's when I started understanding, what's in food, what's not supposed to be in food, what's actually considered a food, right? So these things, it just kind of shocked me, and my body went into a shock as well. Having to cut out carbs and having to cut out refined sugar. It was almost like a crackhead coming off of drugs. And I tell people all the time, I mean, I was waking up in cold sweats the first
really?
week. Yeah, the first week.
Oh, so you was hooked.
It's detox. Yeah, we're all hooked. Since they're putting refined sugar in the Similac. So we are getting a taste for a significant higher amount of sugar and foods than we ever had before. Kids, people getting bigger steroids in the food. So like that's not by mistake.
Yeah.
And so once you remove that stuff from you, I felt it. And then, even after a week, my body, I tried to eat a cheeseburger because I had given up meat. I actually gone vegan for a year, but that first week, gave it up. I tried to eat a burger, body rejected it, right? So, it started making me understand, like, what's really supposed to be going in this fuel tank, right? So, I still, sometimes I still have a good burger and whatnot. Shoot, I started McDonald's last night. I ain't gonna flex.
That's fine. You know what I'm saying? Everything in moderation, brother.
There you go.
Yeah.
That concept.
Everything in moderation.
Everything. And so me understanding how to get that out of my system was the most important part. And, hey, man, I was like, man, foods, I'm Freudian slip, shout out to Beats, because, like, foods are magic, right?
Yeah,
and
got you.
Me starting to understand that food is a medicine and a tool of health. It was amazing.
Okay. So how do you use that as of now with your transformation, right? How do you use pretty much your being right now and pretty much your not necessarily status, but I would say pretty much the person who you are right now. How has that been helping your road to mental health awareness and being an advocate for other people?
Well, it's been actually a pretty easy transition. A lot of people, like you say, they have trouble finding things to do after they've finished one career or maybe sports. But me, I'm all about purpose finding, feeling my intention, going where the Spirit says go. So I know I've always wanted to help people. Ever since I was little, I knew that I wanted to kind of be the guy to help people who couldn't speak for themselves, people who couldn't do for themselves. Because, sometimes people just need a little encouragement. Some people just need a little self-esteem. And a lot of times people don't get that. And for some reason, I'm me being as comfortable as I am in my own skin brings people out of their shell. And that, I enjoy that. You see that at the club sometimes, man. It'd be, I'm the only one dancing, and I see guys start to move, start to get it in, and do stuff. And I'm like, man, you were suppressing that. You in your head thought that you couldn't do that for whatever reason. Guys see my clothes, and boy, I could never wear that, Wes. Cutting those limiting beliefs. I don't like hearing that from people, right? You could definitely wear it. And and when people state that, that's what they want secretly, right? So now it's time to bring them secrets out so people can be themselves, and we won't have a 70% divorce rate in the country, and things won't be hostile in a home environment because it's two people that don't understand each other, or who are suppressing their own feelings.
Expression, or I guess the lack of expression when it comes to on the male side, definitely has some effects.
Oh yeah,
to society.
It's a boiling pot.
Yeah,
especially for the black man.
Yes, exactly. I feel like just as the Joker says in The Dark Knight, everybody, it's kind of like gravity. All you need is a little push.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you just need pretty much like a push in the right direction to to do what you need to do and do what you're meant to be. Honestly, like there's no concrete recipe for anything. If you really think about it, I've always said there's no concrete recipe for success.
Nope.
But when it comes to anything at all, like, just do you.
Exactly. That's what I tell the kids. That's why, I enjoy talking to the children, man, because they are very receptive to new information and maybe a different way of thinking, a lot more than 30, 40-year-old, 50-year-old people, right? But even that concept of there's no recipe for success. The only thing I tell them is that prepare to fail. You're going to fail in some capacity, but that's going to be
What's that saying? If you don't prepare to fail, if you don't plan to succeed, you plan to fail, some shit like that.
Something like that. I can't quote it right now, so I'm not even going to try, but I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, man. Now, Wes, it's definitely been great, man. So real quick before we wrap up, What you got going on right now?
Oh man, I'm glad you asked.
Let's get into that.
I'm glad you asked. I got a little bit of everything.
Okay,
I'm just trying to save the world. I'm trying to save our people, man. And you know, whoever wants to come on the ride can come. I'm not excluding anyone, but I'm working closely with the Silent Victims of Crime Foundation here in Miami. Okay. I've been working with them almost 4 years now, and on the verge of opening the Win with Wes Foundation in conjunction with them. But I've been working with them. They are a foundation who works with all children who have either one or both parents who are incarcerated. Wow. Yeah, it's, the statistics on that for a kid to go and follow in their parents' footsteps after they've been incarcerated is extremely high. So we try to break that school to prison pipeline that is so rampant in the community here in America. So we take them and do fun activities. We do opera, things that they've never haven't been exposed to before, and it's making a difference. Paulette Pfeiffer, the creator of the foundation, started in Anderson, South Carolina in the 90s, and she's seen innumerable success. I think this is the second generation of kids who have gone to college, after breaking that pipeline. So now it's pretty intense. And so I'm branching that out as well as, reaching out to mental health advocacy for parents, just in general, because now people need it more than ever. People need someone to talk to and vent to, because what's been happening the past 7 months is not really something you can explain your way through. True, definitely. Right? I got you. And the kids are suffering. Everybody's suffering. And I feel like I've reached a state where I can, reach out and uplift people's spirits, man, and do something about it. So, that's exactly what I'm doing, and also making a revenue off my reputation, because I got to get paid. I got to pay the bills. So,
absolutely, yeah. Accordingly.
Right, accordingly, man. So, if I can help people change the world, make some money, then that's exactly what I want to do. And that was always my plan after football. So, whether it be writing, I have a journalism background. I do writing as well. So, I'm just trying to reach
When's your
out.
book coming out, man?
The book is coming out.
We have a book.
Which book? I'm gonna have a cookbook for my smoothie recipes.
Okay. Man, this guy's like me, man. The ace of all trades, man. Okay, I got you. No, I'm talking about like your autobiography. Like, autobiography. Is that coming out? Are you doing that?
No time soon.
Okay.
Simply because there's so much stuff going on now. Like, I hate to write a book and have to put something in it right after I release it. Like, dang, I could have put that in there.
Yeah, it happens. You gotta just jump in, man.
Yeah, I'm 31, man. I got a couple years, so I'm really actually focused on getting back in the league as well, because me learning and understanding my body has brought me to a place I've never been before. I'm more explosive and more powerful than I've ever been. So I do think that I can still do that. So I want to keep one foot on that all the time, and keep my hands on some other things as well.
Which we'll get into a little later.
Yeah.
But, okay, that's good, man. That's good. All right, man. So it's definitely been a pleasure talking to you, man.
Likewise, my brother.
Let me get some shameless plugs, shout outs. Yeah. Where can people find you so we can get you?
Yeah, man. Wes Saunders. You can find me on Instagram, Wes Saunders 88, Wes_Saunders 88, both on Instagram and Twitter. Wesley Saunders on LinkedIn. You want to do business? I'm definitely into the entrepreneurial spirit at this time. So I'm reaching out to everyone who has a like-minded spirit, wants to improve the world. You're kind to people, but you also don't take no shit. I'm with those kind of people.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate Bishop having me on the show, man.
Absolutely, man. Won't be last.
Oh no, this ain't gonna be the last. We just getting started.
Yes,
dog.
sir. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Until next time.